Welcome back to another episode of Two Fans, 12 Rings. Jeff here. Brad, how are you?
I'm doing well. The Olympics are great. NFL news just keeps coming out. I mean, it's going to be August in 2 days, which is crazy. We're going to have football this week, Hall of Fame speeches, NFL Top 100 coming out, repping Man United. They start this month. August is officially that month where summer kind of ends and turns into fall and kicks off, I don't know, just the best time of year.
Yeah, we got, between the two of us, mutually, we have quite a few things going on right now. We're literally, as we speak, in the middle of our Dynasty rookie draft. That's kind of been really fun. You were able to take Caleb Williams and Roman Dunze in the first 5 picks. I just drafted at 8 and took Xavier Worthy, and I still have pick 10 people have been calling about. And we're currently trying to plan our Michigan versus Texas tailgate, obviously both our college teams, and that's got us very excited. But we're also excited to talk Bears, Jets, Vikings, Broncos today. If you guys have not yet, please go back, listen to the last 2 team breakdowns. These are exclusive to YouTube right now. I don't think we announced that at the end of last pod, but we're trying to grow the YouTube audience. So subscribe, hit the bell, whatever you can do. Trying to get that YouTube audience up. It is a free platform. So even if you don't pay for YouTube, it is still there. Anything else before we get going here?
Not that I can think of. I don't know. Have you had your chance to play the new college football video game while you're briefly talking college? All right. Well,
how is it? Tell me about it.
Oh, dude, I love it. I mean, you can easily go on any internet and find, glitchy stuff that happens in the game here or there. You can pick it apart, but I don't know. When the controller's in my hand, I have a great time. And I also have an online dynasty with a few guys, and I know Dan, who listens to the pod. A lot of people they grab like lower programs and build them up. Mm-hmm. The 3 people in my online dynasty were Michigan, Notre Dame, and Texas. We're not building people up. We're just taking our teams. And J-Mag, shout out. He's gotten a lot better at the game since I played him like the 3rd day it was out. And I was up 21-0 at halftime. We just went to volleyball. We met in the national championship game in our dynasty league, and let's just say it was tied at 38 with 5 minutes left in the game. So the first 6 possessions of the game were 5 touchdowns and a field goal. Jeez. So it was back and forth. I was streaming on Discord. My dad was watching, and he'll get there. He fell apart in the 4th quarter. Quinn Ewers and the boys, they got it done. But
he's got to get that team, the recruits up. Got to get the boys there.
I mean, yeah, we'll figure out the recruiting. I still got to try to teach that to them because I'm more involved, and I've played more Madden than both of them have played combined in their life. So over the years, I'm a little bit more familiar with it. But
who's Michigan?
My dad.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yep. My dad, and then J-Mag's Notre Dame. I'm Texas. So.
Did he make the college football playoff the first year?
He did. My dad had 3 losses on the year. It was week 2 to J-Mag. It was the Big Ten championship game to J-Mag, and it was the playoff semifinal to J-Mag. He lost to J-Mag 3 times.
Time out. So week 2 he wasn't playing Texas?
Huh?
Week 2 he wasn't playing Texas?
No, my dad early on, I couldn't edit the schedules totally on when he played J-Mag, but I don't think my dad right away. It probably just wouldn't have been fun if I played him right off the bat because there's just too big of a skill gap there. Not his fault. It's just
you moved Texas off the schedule and put Notre Dame on there.
Yeah, we moved when I edited the conferences and moved them around. I made it to where everybody had to play 8 conference games. So most of the schedule was in conference, but yeah, we just moved that game off the.
Did you move Notre Dame to the Big Ten?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have all the pictures saved. I moved a lot of the conferences around. I remade the Pac-12. Texas is back in the Big 12, but so is Nebraska, Texas A&M, both Oklahomas. Stuff like that. The ACC was rebuilt. Notre Dame was put there's no independent teams. You know, I moved everything around, kind of.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's a really fun game. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with it.
So let's talk our first team here. I believe it's the Chicago Bears, correct?
That is correct.
So the Chicago Bears, while finishing 7-10 last year, still got the number 1 overall pick from the year prior, trading that away to Carolina. I'll tell you what, the Bears have been, let's just call a spade a spade. For the last decade, they've been a train wreck organization. They went from appearing in the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman and Hester and Urlacher and those guys to kind of just falling off and not knowing really what their identity is with Jay Cutler and all those guys. They've rotated coaches. But honestly, trading the number 1 pick for this year's Carolina Panthers pick was the greatest move in the history of their franchise, because not only did they get the number 1 overall pick, they literally got DJ Moore. So they traded last year's pick, waited 1 year. They get DJ Moore. They get Caleb Williams this year. They still drafted number 9 rather than trading out. They used it for Roman Dunze. They have literally rebuilt this team. They traded away pieces to go get Keenan Allen. They brought in DeAndre Swift. I'll let you take it away, but like this team is, regardless of where they finish this year, nobody can argue their lack of effort. They tried to rebuild this team into not just a contender, but potentially a championship contender. Obviously, strong division. We'll talk about those things, but the Bears are the most interesting team for me going into this year. There's like maybe 1 or 2 teams that even have an argument. The Bears are super interesting.
Yeah, we mentioned way before the breakdowns, and we just kind of made the comment, and it was whether they're super good or bad, regardless of that, we'll get into how we feel about that in a little bit, but no team will look different than the Chicago Bears, however that turns out. But yeah, in the draft, they take Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze. A lot of people saw it coming night 1 of the draft. Caleb, they got Rome to pair with them. They end up picking up another offensive tackle in the 3rd round, and in the 4th round they picked Torrey Taylor. And if you guys don't know who Torrey Taylor is, if you watched Big Ten football last year, he had a case for the Heisman Trophy at punter from Iowa. He was absolutely amazing. And if you look at some of the stuff that has come out of training camp, that dude can flip the field quick. Obviously, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Gerald Everett, safety Kevin Byard. A lot of people forget they picked up too, Pro Bowl safety. They lose Justin Fields, Darnell Mooney, Dante Foreman, and a defensive tackle. But with the late addition last year of Montez Sweat, this team revamped their defense. And in the final 6 weeks of the season, we're a top 5 defense. So you look across everything that they've done to change or in an effort to get better. I can't believe I don't have the stats in front of me, but it's something like if Caleb Williams starts 16 games, if he throws for like something like 130 yards a game, like the Bears are the only franchise to never have a 4,000-yard passer.
It's wild because Cutler was there and threw all the time.
Yeah, like it's just crazy when you do a deep dive on the quarterback situation for a franchise that has, Super Bowls and the prestige that they do. It could be really fun to watch this team. I think it's must-see TV. And even if that's for some of you listening saying, I can't stand that Caleb Williams, guys, I hope he fails. It's just another reason to watch, though. Will he fail? I certainly hope not, especially now that he's on my dynasty team. But who knows? I can't wait to see what they do in this division. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think the Bears are, like I said, most interesting team. If you take any team in the entire league 2 years ago to now, nobody looks more flip-flopped. Like, it's just a completely different roster. If this team doesn't succeed, head coach is 100% fired. Like, it wouldn't be because of anybody else. Bears fans, for once in their life, they can be very excited.
Yeah. I think something to potentially look out for is I don't think they would be fired this year, but if the Bears, I guess you have to do bad. Don't forget the coach, but if the coach ended up being fired, I mean, dip your toes back in 1 year with the Commanders. Cliff Kingsbury is the offensive coordinator, gets a head coaching job with the Bears to coach, one of the guys that he worked with, and Caleb Williams. I think that's something that could potentially happen. But you remember 2 years ago, they bring in T.J. Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds at middle linebacker. Those guys flipped the defense. Their young corner, Jalen Johnson, who they signed to a big contract this year, he was good. Jaquan Brisker from Penn State gets Kevin Byard. This defense is good at all the levels. Their tackles are good. Tevin Jenkins moved to guard. Ryan Bates was another addition this offseason at center. The running back room, Roshan Johnson, Khalil Herbert, DeAndre Swift, that goes 2 or 3 deep of guys that they played last year or can play. Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet. They got Gerald Everett from the Chargers. I mean, this team, yeah, like you said, Bears fans have no choice but to be excited. Like, it looks like they're going to be really good. I think they're going to be really good.
I think so too. We can start going through the schedule.
Before we this is just about the schedule before we break it down game by game. The Bears and the Steelers are the two teams that do not have I think they do not play a divisional opponent, or 5 of them are after week 10. Like, they see everybody in their division late. I'm just going to quickly go through and glance. Their first divisional opponent, I believe, is Sunday, November 24th against the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow.
Nope, sorry, 1 week earlier. Sunday, November 17th, week 11, they play the Green Bay Packers. That's their first game. So a little nugget about the schedule. Before they play divisional opponents, Caleb might not be so much of a rookie 2.5 months into the NFL season.
Yeah. Yeah, the one thing about Caleb, say what you will, obviously an electric player, he doesn't really turn the ball over. He had that one game at Notre Dame last year where he threw 3 picks, but outside of that, his college career, he's 7-1 TD interception ratio. That's wild. So if he can obviously be 4-1 in the NFL, we're talking outrageous number. Even 3-1 is outrageous. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of player he is. A lot of people obviously hoping he is a bust and rooting against him. I think he has every opportunity to succeed. It's not so often the number 1 pick is the best scenario to go to. They were probably the best scenario to go to.
And it's worth mentioning, he was the number 1 pick to a team that was the 9th pick. They were 7-10. And they came on at the back end after making additions. And I believe it was Albert Breer. And he said what the Bears did with Caleb, I think this is pretty good insight, that he said he'd never seen in the draft process before, is they said way early in the combine, when you get your hours or your meeting calls with players and you have all your allotted time to talk to players, when they were talking to Caleb Williams, they were installing the offense back in April. They were using every second they had to meet with players to install the offense. And then during the last draft process interview, when they brought in Caleb for his 15 minutes, it was with Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, all the captains of the team, to kind of familiarize themselves with Caleb Williams and use that time to integrate. So by the time he got into the building, he was already weeks and months ahead. He had the playbook. He was installing offense. He knew the captains of the team. They've used every step to make it as good and as smooth as possible for Caleb, and I think that can go a long way.
Yeah, no, I'm expecting big things. I mean, weirdly enough, the next team we're talking about is the Jets. It's the team that we went the longest talking about last year. This feels like the team this year. It's just so much of the team is based around the additions on offense and the hype. it's worth the hype. I think this is going to be a good football team.
All right. Last year they were 7-10. And we'll go through their win-loss. Week 1, home against the Titans. I would have said Titans if Vrabel was still the head coach.
I have the Titans with a win in that game. The reason why, rookie quarterbacks week 1, their record is like abysmal. I am going Titans here.
I think I'm going to stick with Caleb here. I'm going to go with the Bears. Week 2 at the Texans, Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, this is also weirdly enough the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I am going to take the Texans here as well. So which is funny because both teams have young, exciting quarterbacks with 3 wide receivers and a tight end and running backs that are newly.
Works.
The teams are very similar, but I do like the Texans a hair more.
Me too. They followed up back-to-back road spot at Texans, then at the Colts.
Yeah, I do think that they can go into Indy, Caleb in a dome with this team. Offense is too much. Give me the Bears.
I'm gonna take. That's tough. Back-to-back road spot. We're each gonna have them at 1 and 2, whether it's the Colts or Titans. Lose one of them. They're back at home versus the Los Angeles Rams.
Man, I know they're home. Not quite cold enough out yet. I do like the Rams here.
I like the Rams too, but I think defense plays good, and I think this could potentially be back home game 4 versus a younger defense. I think this could be Caleb's first 4 touchdown game. Like he just shoots out with Matt Stafford. Like I think it could be high scoring.
I could totally envision a time where what's this game on? 1-4 Sunday night.
1 o'clock Sunday.
Wow. Actually, West Coast going east.
I like the Bears at home here.
I just swapped. I'm going Bears. Nice. I'm going Bears.
Back-to-back home spot here. They're Panthers.
They're beating the Panthers. So now I got to win 3 in a row.
Then it says home game, but this is against Jacksonville in London. This is Jacksonville's first London game. Like it's the second one is against the Patriots.
I'm not in love with Jacksonville. I'm going Bears 4 in a row.
I was about to say, me neither. I'm taking the Bears. But they come back from London to a bye week, which I think is a nice spot for them. Week 7 bye. They come out of the bye, back-to-back road games. Commanders, then Cardinals. Jaden Daniels versus Caleb Williams here, week 8.
I don't know how it goes. Probably a 1-1 spot. I'm going to give them the W and then the loss to the. Actually, what did I give the Cardinals? I think I had the Cardinals beating them.
I'm going as well.
Week 9, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I have the Cardinals in a win. I'm going to give the Cardinals the win.
Okay. So we're both at 5 and 3 here?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I gave Washington the loss. Trying to stay consistent with myself.
I gotcha.
I actually gave Washington the win. So that's what we'll do.
Win-loss?
No, loss here for me.
Okay. Well, so the thing is they're then home against the Patriots.
Yeah, they're beating the Patriots. That's a W again.
Okay, so we'll break it down again, but their next 5 games are Packers, Vikings, Lions, 49ers, Vikings, Lions. That's their next 5. So it's a lot of divisional games, but after being home against the Patriots, they're home against Green Bay.
W.
Then they're home against the Vikings.
Loss.
At the Lions.
Loss.
At the 49ers.
Loss.
at the Vikings.
Win.
Home again. Okay, by the way, the at Detroit game is Thursday. It's the Thanksgiving game.
Okay.
So it's a long weekend to the 49ers. And then after they play the 49ers, week 15 is Monday night at the Vikings.
I have them winning that game.
Okay.
Coming off 3 in a row, desperation, win.
3 games left. Back home against the Lions.
I just think the Lions are better than them in a lot of ways. But it is an outdoor game with Jared Goff. Give me the Bears.
Then Thursday night football, the last Thursday night game, Bears hosting the Seahawks.
Win.
And then at the Green Bay Packers. Finish the year.
Loss.
I was with you on a lot of those. I finished 11-6.
Really? 9-8.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I think their over under is 7.5 or 8.5.
Yeah, where the wins and losses happened differently than you is you had them losing to Washington and Arizona.
Yeah.
I had them splitting. I had them getting one of those. And I also have them sweeping the Vikings where you have them splitting. So that's
I can't believe you think the Vikings are that bad.
Yeah, I know. We'll get to them soon.
What's the over under?
What did you think it was?
I think it's 7.5 or 8.5. I'm gonna go 7.5.
It's 8.5.
Oh, okay.
To win the division, plus 300. Make playoffs, minus 102. Miss playoffs, minus 120. So they have them right on the fringe. They don't know.
What are they to make the playoffs?
Minus 102. So pretty much dead even money. But to miss the playoffs is minus 120. So it's more of a favorite. But like they're both right there. They're basically saying they could, and they're right on the fringe of the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl's plus 3,500.
Okay.
So I like the Bears a lot this year. 11-7 in the NFC. I could see it. Or 11-6, excuse me. I'm not going to lock it in, though. I'm not going to put that as one of the future locks. I can't wait to watch them.
Yeah, no, I think the Bears are going to be very exciting. Very exciting. New York Jets. Team I hate the most in the league. Kind of a comical season where Aaron Rodgers plays a whopping 4 plays after running out with the American flag on September 11th. Monday night kickoff. The whole world's watching. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that game broke Monday Night Football records for total viewership. And Rodgers played a whopping 4 plays.
They still beat the Bills.
They still beat the Bills, which was kind of crazy. This is a team that has a ton of potential, and it is a Super Bowl or bust type season. Are they that level of team? That remains to be seen. But take away the ads and losses, and most notably, the biggest ad is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, if you want to kind of look at it that way. Also, breaking news on the pod for you. Starting pitcher Jack Flaherty from the Tigers. He is a Dodger. So the Jets, in the draft, they take Olu Fashanu, offensive tackle from Penn State, wide receiver Malachi Corley, Wisconsin running back Braylon Allen, Jordan Travis, quarterback, and then they take a few more players late. Additions, they get Mike Williams, wide receiver from the Chargers, Tyron Smith, John Simpson, Morgan Moses, all on the offensive line. They say Hassan Reddick, but he's currently in a holdout. We'll see what happens. Tyrod Taylor is a backup quarterback, some D linemen. They lose Bryce Huff to the Eagles, who they're hoping Hassan Reddick can basically replace. He was their leading sack getter. Jordan Whitehead, safety, Quentin Jefferson, Randall Cobb, Dwayne Brown. I mean, they basically upgraded on offensive line and talent, but the age goes up on the offensive line, so there's concerns there. They're really, I don't think I've ever seen a team push more chips in on just saying everyone's fired this year if it doesn't work, or we hope it does work. But I guess that's the kind of what you're going to get when you talk about Aaron Rodgers these days. Breece Hall, Braylon Allen is a 1-2 punch. Breece Hall, one of the top running backs in the league, unless you're a Madden rating guy. Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, Malachi Corley, Alan Lazard. Got a pretty decent wide receiver room. Tyler Conklin's a good enough tight end. But the defense is the story. They have a top 5 defense in the league. 2 good corners, dominant defensive line, good linebackers. This team plays defense first. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't turn over the ball, I think this team is going to be a really, really tough out. And Aaron Rodgers, if there's anything he does, it's not turn the ball over. So I think this team is going to be a tremendously tough out. I don't think they're just going to walk through the NFL now because they have a quarterback with this defense. They'll be in some tight games, but anytime this team gets a lead, they're going to be ridiculously tough to play. So I like the Jets a lot. What say you? I know you hate them, but.
Yeah, I dislike Aaron Rodgers and I dislike the Jets, so this is a match made in heaven for me. But I do call a spade, and I think I gave honest opinions. I think this is a good football team. They won 7 games with Zach Wilson. Aaron Rodgers has to be an upgrade. But the same questions this year as last year. Is the offensive line going to hold up? Because we know the run game's good. We know you have weapons, and we know you have a good defense. And do you have the right head coach? Because we're still not sure.
They don't.
Yeah, so.
You watch a lot of Colin Cowherd. Did you hear what his sources said about their offensive coordinator situation?
The Nat Hackett?
Yeah, with Arthur Smith before he took the Steeler job. They basically wanted Arthur Smith to come in and basically like oversee what Nathan Hackett's doing, like almost like a babysitter role. Like that's almost what it was. Like you're not
because
the OC.
They're not allowed to fire him.
Yeah, exactly. So they wanted to hire him as like an offensive consultant to like oversee what Nathan Hackett's doing. And obviously he took the Steelers job, but it's just like that does not say good things. Aaron Rodgers is your offensive coordinator.
Essentially.
We could talk about Tyrod Taylor as the backup, sure, but like you look at Russell Wilson, everyone wants to say he had this big decline. It's like Russ had 1 bad year in his career. It was under Nathan Hackett. Like, sure, the personality stuff, whatever, but, like, it was when Nathan Hackett was calling the offense. So it's just a really, really weird situation. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a ton for the Jets. They're in a very tough division. Miami's still there. Buffalo still is going to be there. New England's obviously on the down rebuilding. But the Jets are going to be a tough out. Like you said, they're built to beat a lot of teams.
Yeah, and their defensive line, just the names you'll recognize: Jermaine Johnson, Javon Kinlaw, Quinnen Williams, Hassan Reddick, Solomon Thomas, Will McDonald IV, middle linebacker C.J. Mosley, their corners Quincy Williams, Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed. Like they've got studs all over this defense. And you know that a defense, just in terms of their mindset, sometimes you give up when you see that quarterback walking out in the field and you don't think you have a chance. You feel like you have a chance with Aaron Rodgers. So Garrett Wilson and him could be special.
Yeah. Let's get to the schedule.
I'm just glancing through the times in the first 10 weeks. I mean, all the way till December, everyone's just going to see the Jets play. You're just not going to be able to avoid it. Week 1, Monday night, San Francisco Giants.
It does crack me up that obviously Rodgers gets hurt on Monday Night Football last year, and when do they play him again? Monday Night Football against the team that he literally they passed on him, and rather than him beating them down, they beat him down all the time. Give me the Niners.
Yeah, same. And I meant San Francisco Niners, not Giants. It is baseball season, so shout out the Pirates. They're humming. Then they travel from San Francisco back down the road at the Tennessee Titans.
They're gonna beat the Titans. So they're. I'm pretty sure I have the Jets beating the Titans.
I
actually have the Titans winning.
Because the back-to-back road spot, and you said after you play the 49ers, you lose. And I get all of that, but I look at this defense versus Will. What's his last name?
Will Levis.
Thank you. I like the Giants to bounce back here. I think people are making too big of a deal out of it.
You like the Jets to bounce back, but I am gonna make a big deal. I think they lose.
Okay. The Jets now have, it says 4 straight home games, but one of these are in London. So, but their short week Thursday night, their home opener against the New England Patriots.
I believe I had the Patriots losing this game, and it pained me to do that. But I do believe. No, I have. I have the Patriots winning. Gosh, 3 L's in a row.
Well, it's back-to-back road spot, then short week. But again, I just like.
Who's their London game?
Well, the London game's not for a minute.
Oh, who's their week 4?
Their week 4 is another Sunday at home, so long week at home against the Denver Broncos.
They're winning that game.
So through 4 weeks, at 49ers, at Titans, home against New England, home against Broncos, you have them 1-3?
I do. I don't love it, but I do.
I have them 3-1. They lose to the 49ers. They haven't lost yet. They're then going to go to London to play the Minnesota Vikings.
They're going to win that game.
Agreed. 4-1. Now, they come back from London Monday night. They host the Buffalo Bills. They have really played Josh Allen well, really well the last 3 years.
Yeah, I think they actually win this game too.
Holy shit. Literally, you can't watch sports media right now. The Jets are 5-1. It's going to be crazy. They then are on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I like them to win that game as well.
I can be a homer if I want. They lose. They then follow that up back-to-back road spot. Pittsburgh, then Foxborough at New England.
I had them splitting with New England. I had them losing week 3. They're going to win here. That gives me 5 in a row for the Jets.
So what do you have them at total?
5-3.
Yeah, I missed a win somewhere in here. Loss, win. All right. They beat New England. I have them at 7-2. Then they're home Thursday night versus the Houston Texans. That's going to be a great Thursday night game.
Yeah, and I'm going to give them the win again.
Texans on the road. Then they're at the Arizona Cardinals.
That's a loss. That's week 10.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a loss. I have the Cardinals winning.
I like a win. Then they are home Sunday night football versus the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, this is a win as well.
I'm gonna have them lose to the Colts. They are then a week 12 bye. They come out of the bye and they host the Seahawks. I think that's a win.
I actually like the Seahawks there.
Okay. Now, I'm going to give you their last 5 opponents to end the year. Dolphins, Jaguars, Rams, Bills, Dolphins. So, tough stretch here to finish the season, but they are at the Miami Dolphins.
That's a loss.
Agreed. They are then at Jacksonville, so they stay down in Florida.
Aaron Rodgers' record in Florida is horrendous. Loss.
I'm going to have them lose again, yeah. Then they're back home versus the Los Angeles Rams. I like them to win that game.
That's tough, but I actually agree.
At Buffalo.
Loss.
Josh Allen gets them. And then home against Miami.
We'll give them the win to end the year in New York. I got them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 8. I'm gonna guess their over/under is actually 9.5.
What do you have them at?
I have them at 9 and 8. I think they're 9.5.
I have them at 10 and 7. Their win-loss is 9.5. So we're right on it. You have them at 9 and 8. I have them at 10 and 7.
Yeah, I felt like I was just on the other side of it. I have too many streaks though. I have them winning too many, losing too many. They're going to intertwine those, but I do like 9 wins for them.
To win the division, plus 170. To make the playoffs, minus 170. To miss, plus 138. Super Bowl, plus 1,800.
All right. Can't wait to talk about this next team. I think you're way too low.
Yeah. I might be.
You are. I already know that. I'm interested to hear you defend it because I know you're low on them. I am interested in how many wins you're going to give them, but I also want to hear you defend it because I just don't know that I can see where you're going. But Minnesota Vikings, 7-10 last year. They did lose Kirk Cousins about halfway through the year, and it kind of fell apart from there. They drafted J.J. McCarthy. They paid Justin Jefferson the highest paid contract for any non-quarterback in the entire league. Obviously broke the wide receiver market and stuff like that, but best non-quarterback contract in the league. What do you got on the Vikings?
Their additions in the offseason, Jonathan Grenard, Aaron Jones at running back, Sam Darnold at quarterback, Andrew Van Ginkel, outside linebacker from the Dolphins, Blake Cashman and Jonah Williams in the defensive front seven. They lose Kirk Cousins, Danielle Hunter, DJ Wonnum, KJ Osborne, wide receiver, linebacker Marcus Davenport, Jordan Hicks, running back Alexander Madison, Josh Dobbs, and kicker Greg Joseph. Their draft picks, they take J.J. McCarthy at quarterback, Dallas Turner at edge. They don't pick again until the 4th round where they take corner, tackle, kicker, center, defensive tackle. Just kind of a little bit all over the board there. But they do get Will Reichard, Alabama. He was a good kicker for Bama. So that's what they do with their roster. Obviously, the biggest thing is losing Kirk Cousins, bringing in 2 new quarterbacks. But they do have the weapons, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. Offensive line held up last year. Christian Darrisaw, left tackle, they re-signed this year. So they do have their left tackle sealed up. I don't know about the rest of the offensive line. But I'll let you go ahead and break down the Vikings a little bit.
No, I just think that overall, while I understand that 2 years ago they won all their one-score games and they were the best, regular season team in the league, it seemed like. And then last year they weren't winning those one-score games. They did lose their franchise quarterback, and he leaves in the offseason. They still have – I talked to you earlier about the Bears having the number 1 situation. This is probably the number 2 situation. Like, we're talking a pretty good offensive line, and you get the best receiver in football in Jay Jetta. You get a great number 2 in his name is escaping
Jordan
Addison out of USC. You get T.J. Hawkinson, who's still young and healthy. You get Aaron Jones coming over, who's still a dependable running back and Pro Bowl level running back. I know Sam Darnold isn't anything to sniff at. I do believe in J.J. McCarthy. I think he'll get in well before Halloween. I think this is a good football team, at least offensively. There's a few defensive pieces, not many. That is where they're going to lack. But this is an offensive football team, and I think they'll score a lot of points.
I just will. I'll have to go through their schedule. It's just I don't know how much I trust the quarterbacks. I like the weapons. I don't think they have a outright runner of the football. I think Aaron Jones does a little bit of his work with the catching and the running, like both, especially now in his career. It's not that I don't trust the quarterbacks in totality. It's just that I don't like this defense very much. So I feel like they are going to get scored on quite a bit. And then you're kind of relying on Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy to win you shootouts. And I just don't know if I like that recipe. If you take this team and especially this offense and give them a year or two, I think I'll like the Vikings the more I see these quarterbacks progress. But if I got to pick a side on this podcast and come out and, pick win losses off of it, I think the Vikings are a team that are going to struggle because I don't think they're going to win very many games that they give up 24 plus points. And I think they will in a lot of their games, especially with how I feel like they're going to play some good offenses. You look in their division, Lions, Bears, and Packers. I like those offenses a lot, and I don't love the Vikings defense. But if Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy come out and they start, slinging the pill around, perhaps they could win those shootouts. I just don't trust those quarterbacks right now. But Kevin O'Connell's a tremendous offensive coordinator. And, again, we can pound the drum on these weapons. I like the weapons a lot. I don't know. I think we'll see when we do the win-loss, but I think off the top of my head, I'm probably going to have this team finishing fourth in their division. I'm not going to go out of my way to make sure that happens. It's just they were 7-10 last year, and I don't know if they got that much better, especially getting worse at the quarterback position. Even if they play good, I don't think they're going to be as good as Kirk Cousins this year.
Okay. Let's get to the schedule.
Last year they were 7-10. I think you pointed that out already.
Yep.
So week 1:00 game at the New York Giants. The New York Giants front seven is so good. The defense is actually good. I'm going to take the home team. I think the New York Giants win this game.
I got the Vikings winning.
They're then home against the 49ers.
That's a loss.
I agree. They're then home against the Houston Texans.
Well, when you play the Niners, you lose the following week, and the Texans are, as of right now, a better football team, at least in week 3. I give them a loss.
At the Green Bay Packers.
I do like them to beat the Packers.
I do not. And then they are the London game versus the New York Jets, which I gave the Jets that win.
As did I. I will give them a loss here.
Now, their bye week is week 6, and I have it as 0-5. I think they could beat the New York Giants, but I don't think there's a chance they win any of those other 4 games. Niners, Texans, at Packers, Jets. I don't think they can win those 4. If I have too low of wins, I will go back and give them the win versus the Giants. But I'm going to stick with it. This is how it's going. It gets easier out of the bye week, though. They host the Detroit Lions.
I have them splitting, so I'm going to give them the win here at home.
God damn, they lose. The Lions are too good. Then it is a short week Thursday night at the Los Angeles Rams. This is a brutal schedule.
Yeah, there's nobody that on the Rams defense. The Rams corners, they have one solid one. I actually like this for the Vikings here.
Whether it's 1 win or only 2, I think after the Rams, I think this is when JJ comes in. If Sam's the starter, I don't even know if he's made it this far. But week 9, they are home against the Indianapolis Colts.
I like them to win that game too. I have them currently at 5-3.
Okay, they give them a win against the Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
A win.
Dude, this is just fucking blasphemy. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I can't. After at Jacksonville, they're at Tennessee.
Week 11.
Yep.
Yeah, I have Minnesota winning that one.
After at Jacksonville and at Tennessee, they're at Chicago.
That I actually have as a low. I have Minnesota winning that one. So I think I'm starting to give them a little too many W's right now. I will say that. I do need to back off because I currently have them at 8-3, and that seems too much. But they're not 3-8 like you have them currently. I think we need to meet somewhere in the middle.
Home against the Cardinals.
Man. Am I secretly giving them just a crazy record? What week is that?
13.
I have the Cardinals losing.
Let's just keep going. Let's just make this as worst as fucking possible. Week 14, home. They're back-to-back home games against Atlanta.
What week?
14.
I have them losing.
Okay.
It's like I was picking Minnesota to win every game.
Yeah. Monday night football, week 15, third home game in a row, hosting Chicago.
Loss.
Sunday, December 22nd, at the Seattle Seahawks.
Loss. I just start giving them losses.
17, home against Green Bay.
Loss.
Week 18, at Detroit.
Loss.
I can't wait to hear what you have, Miz.
10-7.
They're 5-12.
So I will say this: they're not a 10-7 team, but they're not a 5-12 team. They're probably 8 or 9.
No shot this team has a winning record. 8-9 is their ceiling. No shot they have a winning record.
I couldn't disagree more.
No chance. I don't think there's.
If you told me JJ was starting week 1, I'd put him at 10-7 and feel great.
Oh, I don't even hate the Vikings, dude. This ain't even like I'm just trying to kill them.
I'm gonna keep them at 10-7 because I don't dislike it. What is their over under 8.5?
It's 7.5. I'd hammer the under. I have them at 5-12, and I feel like I had to like give out 1 or 2 wins. If they lose that week 1 game, this might be a really good bet as the last team without a win. Like the longest team to.
Have you looked at the Giants?
I know. I'm saying if they lose to the Giants.
Oh.
Like if you get through week 1, they might not get a win till like week 9.
Who are they playing week 4?
They're at Green Bay. 49ers, Texans, Green Bay, Jets, Lions, Rams, and there's also a bye in there. Shit, you could even go to Colts, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Chicago. 3 of those are on the road. They have 4 road games in a 5-game or 5-week span there. Schedule didn't do them any favors.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could argue all day. I'm not willing to die on this hill. I do think this team's more unpredictable than you're making them.
I know, and it's an offensive league, and they have the weapons too. It's like, and Kevin O'Connell drawing up plays.
Yeah.
I don't hate the team. I like watching the Vikings. Shout out Mason if you're listening to this section. I hate to do this to your team, but you know he comes over to the garage to watch football more often than not. And I like watching the Vikings. I see a lot of their games. I don't know. I don't like this defense and their schedules.
I met Mason the night of your cash game, didn't I?
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, we spoke briefly, and shout out Mason. I know he's a listener to the pod. I hope you're listening and you give Brad a rash of shit because they are not a 5-win team. That's unacceptable for him to even think that.
Dude, it really is. Like, I don't want to do this, but, like, there's some teams you got to be out on, and I'm totally out on the Vikings. Offensive head coach, all those weapons. I know. I know.
We don't need to argue about it because, like I said, I'm not so super convicted that they're a 10-win team. I'm just very positive they're not a 5-win team, but they could be a 7 or 8, and I wouldn't like that. Wouldn't be crazy to me.
This is a team.
I would honestly be shocked at 5 because that means they're a bottom team.
This team is someone that, like, there's just like this fog in my mind I can't get through. I feel so strongly about it that, like, this is a team I like to sit down with other people who like football, and I'm like, look, man, these are some of the Vikings' adds and losses. I'm just going to run through the schedule with you. Don't overthink it. Tell me what your gut says, win or loss. Because I feel like no matter who you ask, you could find people with 5 or 6 wins, and you could find people who find 11 wins. With this offense and that head coach, I don't know. I don't think we've gone over. Division plus 1,000. Make the playoffs plus 270. Miss the playoffs minus 355. And their Super Bowl odds are plus 8,000. 7.5 win total. Which, did we say the Bears was 8.5?
8.5.
Yeah, so not saying this like it backs up my point or nothing, but they do have the lowest win-loss in the NFC North and the farthest odds to win the NFC North.
Well, the NFC North is a very good division.
Right, yeah, agreed. But that's kind of what I contribute it to is, like, they're playing 6 games against what we believe to be good offenses. And then they draw.
They have a great offense too, though.
I guess, yeah, see, that's where we're kind of. And they play the NFC West, which is the 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals.
I just got done seeing J.J. McCarthy lose a whopping 3 games in college. Like, I'm very content in saying that this guy can come in and make a difference. I just think that there's no way they're drafting in the top 5 next year, which is where you currently have them.
That actually, I wonder if you could bet that.
Probably.
Somewhere. It's out there somewhere. You dig far enough, you can find it.
Ready to talk about the ponies?
I'll try my best. This team sucks.
Denver Broncos last year were 8-9. And they're like, you know what? It's all Russell Wilson's fault. Let's trade him. No, too expensive. Let's cut him. So Russell Wilson let go. They draft Bo Nix. This is a team that is still trying to get their footing. I'll let you kind of go in on the adds and losses. I'll just be straight with you. How you feel about the Vikings is how I feel about the Broncos, but we'll see if we're the same.
Okay. They draft Bo Nix, like you mentioned, in the first round. Third round, they take an edge rusher from Utah. In round 4, they pair Troy Franklin, the wide receiver from Oregon, with Bo Nix. That's a cool story.
Real quick about that, I did think Troy Franklin was way underdrafted. I think that's a great receiver.
It made me think there must have been personality issues on interviews or something.
Totally. I'm like, why is this dude dropping? And then I'm getting mad at New England for not taking him. I'm like, what is happening here?
I would have lost so much money if someone said, hey, Troy Franklin goes in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. I can go see if I can get my house to bet, like, right now. Like, now he went the 2nd pick in the 4th round, but still, it's like, did Sean Payton bribe other coaches so that he could pair him with Bo? Like, I don't even know how that happens. They take a corner, running back, receiver, center along the way. Audric Estime from Notre Dame, the running back. They lose Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, big-time captain leader Josie Jewell, linebacker, and safety Justin Simmons on the back end. Lloyd Cushenberry.
He is not on a roster yet, to be fair.
Not yet, yeah. Lloyd Cushenberry III, really good center, gone. D-line, 2 D linemen, actually. They add Josh Reynolds from the Lions, a D lineman, safety Brandon Jones, linebacker Cody Barton. Overall, they downgraded at all these positions, it would seem. right off the cuff. Sean Payton came in as a dictator with Walmart money, blew it on a quarterback that he ended up not liking, and they're just down in a rebuild. They're going to have to work their way back up over the next 3 or 4 years. I think this team's going to be a tough watch. I don't think their defense is good. I don't think their offense is great. Although I am rooting for Bo Nix. I think he was kind of like pooped on through this whole process of quarterbacks when he had a tremendous college career, and I hope he does well. Cortland Sutton, Josh Reynolds, his guy Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, Audric Estime in the backfield. That Jaleel McLaughlin, who kind of like popped off in fantasy for a week last year that everyone kind of rushing around for. We'll see what this offense can do. I think they're the 4th best team in their division. I mean, we'll see how we feel in the Raiders next pod. I don't think their defense allowed 71 game last year. They have Patrick Surtain and then 10 guys, I guess. Like, not too much for me to love on this team. I hope that they don't have many games in prime time.
I don't have a ton to add. I think that this team is going to go through rookie quarterback growing pains. They're going to go through young weapon growing pains. They don't have – I mean, Cortland Sutton is a trade candidate midway through the year. This is just a team that doesn't have a ton going on right now. I don't even know who their starting tight end is, honestly, off the top of my head.
The starting tight end?
Yeah.
Greg Dulcich. They do have a right tackle named Frank Crum. He's 3rd on the depth chart, but it's a pretty nice name, Frank Crum.
That's a great name. Honestly, he sounds like he'd be great at Quidditch.
Calvin Throckmorton. Got to get that guy in the starting lineup. I don't know what he's doing against the Sleds, but you got to find a way.
And it's got to be on Sunday Night Football when he reads his own name and says what college he's from.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But let's just get to the schedule.
What was his name? Kyle? What?
Hold on, let me go back. It was Frank. Oh, no, that's Crum. Nope. Calvin Throckmorton.
Here we go. Calvin Throckmorton. Bale Hale University.
Bale Hale University. I was trying to think of one to add to that, but I think you did a fine job yourself. I'll just leave it at that. Bale Hale University. All right, you ready to break this down, Tom?
Yeah, I don't want to just go loss after loss after loss, but it's going to be tough for me to find dubs here.
They normally say that it's tough to play in Denver in September. They have 4 games in September, 3 are on the road. So they they lose that edge. They are at Seattle. By the way, they were 7-10 last year. No, that's the Vikings.
8-9. They're 8-9.
Still on the Vikings page. Hold on a second. They're right in front. Here we go. Got that. They were 8-9 last year. Sorry about that. Okay, week 1 at Seattle.
Loss.
Agreed. Week 2, their only home game, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Russell Wilson revenge game.
Win. I'm kidding. That's a
no, you can if you want.
No, they're not beating the Steelers here.
I do think, it is tough to play in Denver, but I look at the Steelers' defense versus a rookie quarterback, and I think that's where the difference is made. At Tampa Bay.
Loss. I still like what Tampa's doing.
At the New York Giants.
I'm giving them a win there.
Okay. I have them 0-4. Pretty harsh to start, but that's how it goes. They now have 2 back-to-back home games. Raiders, Chargers.
I'm going to give them the win against the Raiders the first time, but they're dropping the second one, so they won 2 in a row here, but then they're losing to the Chargers.
I have them 1-5 total in the season. Where are you
at? 2-4.
Okay. They're then at the New Orleans Saints on Thursday Night Football. Dennis Allen and the Saints take on Sean Payton.
Sean Payton goes back to New Orleans, gets the standing O, and actually walks away with a W.
Yeah. I think the only real weapon for the Saints is Chris Olave, and he's going to be dancing with Patrick Surtain all night. I like Tragic there. Home against the Carolina Panthers.
That's a win.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure I gave them a win. I'm gonna double check real quick. That's week 8.
Yes.
I actually gave the Panthers a win there.
Dude, I think I am too. They've got a lot of weapons against that poor defense.
Yeah, I actually gave the Panthers a win.
I'm keeping it.
I'm giving the Panthers the win here. So I have them at 3-5 right now.
At Ravens, at Chiefs.
Loss.
Yep, pretty simple there.
Pretty easy there.
I don't know if many teams are going to get wins if that's their back-to-back road spot.
Yeah.
Back home against the Falcons.
I think this was actually a game that I gave Denver. What week is this?
11.
Yeah, I gave Denver a win here in the spot.
I'm not. Denver's in trouble. I'm looking at this schedule. They're in trouble. Next week at the Raiders.
This is a loss. They're splitting with the Raiders.
Yeah. God, I have them at 2-10. Where do you have them? 3.
4 wins right now.
Okay. Monday Night Football, home against the Cleveland Browns.
Loss.
They now have their Week 14 bye.
For a team that's not competing late in the year, it's a useless bye there.
Jeff, I'm just going to read their last 4, and you give me what their record is in the last 4.
Okay.
Come out of their bye. Home against the Colts. At Chargers. At Bengals. Home against the Chiefs.
What was their Week 15?
Home against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, it is cold weather, but Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor, this is a ground and pound team. This is a run the ball first team. 2 possession receivers in Pittman and Adonai Mitchell. I like the Colts, Chargers, Bengals, and Chiefs.
I gave Sean Payton the win off a bye. He's actually one of the best coaches off a bye in the history of the league.
That's fair.
And it is a lesser opponent with the Colts at home. I have them finishing 5-12, which is solid.
This is potential for number 1 draft pick. I have them at 3-14. And I'm
gonna guess their over/under is 5.5.
You know what? I'm gonna flip one game. I'll give them the win against the Panthers. 4-13.
Over/under 5.5.
Hold on. I'm sticking with 3-14. Yes, their over/under is 5.5.
It felt like it. I felt like I was a game off.
Their division odds plus 2,000, make playoffs plus 820, miss minus 1,600, Super Bowl plus 25,000. Tied for second longest odds. I think there's only one team at plus 30,000 for the Super Bowl. I think it was the Panthers.
Oh yeah, because they're ass.
They are.
Well, 4 more teams down. 4 more teams to go next week. Starting tomorrow, I start vacation. Be on vacation for the next 12 days. I'm pretty excited. Tomorrow, we're going to see Creed and 3 Doors Down up in Detroit. I'm excited about that. Going to stadium number 9 on Thursday. Going to see the Atlanta Braves down in Atlanta.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And the rest
of the family?
Yep, the whole fam's going. And then the rest of the trip will be spent in Florida on beaches and stuff like that, enjoying ourselves. So
you deserve it, man.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Just prayers for safe travels, obviously, both driving down and then flying back. And, the last time I went to Florida, I rented a van, and it was an absolutely miserable experience. The van had a cosmetic issue happen like the second day. I was there for 10 days. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. So
it won't.
Appreciate you.
2024, they got it figured out by now.
Yeah. The only thing I'm more positive of than the van situation is going to be good is that the Vikings are winning more than 5 games.
Well, Oh. They're not getting to 9.
Off topic. I just seen 306. UFC 306 is in the Sphere, and O'Malley's the main event. Perfect.
The whole card's butt cheeks. Very underwhelming. That main event, wonderful. The co-main event with the women, I can get down with that, Shevchenko. And the third fight, Diego Lopez, a young rising star. He's the one that Brian Ortega just dropped out on the last card. He fought that dude who took 4 hours notice, kind of beat him, but it was a good fight, whatever. After that, I mean, what are we? Kind of wasted the Sphere. I know they want to do, Mexican Heritage Night and stuff like that, but I don't know. I thought they could have done a bigger, better card for the Sphere, but to my chagrin, I will be watching every punch and kick thrown the entire night because that's what I do. I watch the UFC.
Yeah, definitely. I was there for a minute. I was watching most of the cards. These last couple I haven't tuned into as strong, but I'll definitely be watching the O'Malley fight at the very least. So
that Manchester card was phenomenal, and
Izzy's fighting 305. I'll probably watch that as well.
Yeah, Dricus du Plessis versus. Yeah. I haven't looked at the entire card. Maybe I could just do that real quick. It was 305, yeah.
305, yeah.
Yeah, so you got du Plessis. Kai Kara France, he's always fun to watch in the co-main event. Dan Hooker, that dude, I don't think he can be knocked out. He's in the third fight. He gets bloodied up every fight, but he's good. The fourth fight has tied to Ivasa. He's the heavyweight who drinks out of the shoe when he wins. Most people know him from that. I don't know the last 3 guys in the main card, but yeah, that's not a bad card at all.
Shout out Cole from our fantasy league for taking by far the most time drafting his players.
Yeah, I mean, just give us a little bit something to think about. Maybe he's getting trade offers left and right.
It's possible. I got trade offers for 8. I ended up making the pick. By the way, you hear about Roman Wilson or
carted off ankle injury? We'll see how severe it is.
Yeah, I just got an update, I think. I'm trying to pull it up here.
Hey, I'm hearing whispers. Can't have 2 receivers with the same number. But a lot of people said Brandon Ayuk. I hear that the Steelers might be poking and prodding around to see what they can do with DK Metcalf. He's been working out with Russell Wilson. He's a big physical receiver. Smith and Jigba is going to be the new number 1 there that they're going to go forward with. Big receiver, can stretch the field. Him and George Pickens both love to block. I've never loved your love for DK Metcalf as a number 1, but my God, as a number 2, because I would favor George Pickens there. But as a number 2, I mean, yeah, come on over.
Great news for Roman Wilson. It sounds like it's just a high ankle sprain, and we're still over a month away from the season. He'll be fine.
I assumed he would be. But we still do need to look at maybe that second receiver spot. But I've told everybody, and we'll get to it on the breakdown, but Pat Freiermuth is the number 2 receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's in line for a huge year. It gets tough for me because I have George Pickens, Pat Freiermuth, and Najee Harris on my fantasy team. I think they could all do well.
Yeah.
But if the Steelers have a bad game, you lose your fantasy week that week. So it's like, do I trade them? Do I keep them? I don't know. Something to think about.
Yeah. Well, we are 12 teams down. Just under a third, actually just over a third of the league. So here we are. Anything else?
No, man. Just shout out the Pirates. I had a preseason bet for them to win 90 games. It was a bit of it was a bold shot of mine, but it was like 20 to win like 300 and some bucks. They're doing well in the middle of the season right now. They've got to finish the year. I believe at this point they need to go 36-20 to finish the year, and they'll hit 90 wins. It's not
that is a tall ask, but possible.
It's within reach. You can also spin it that we're a half game out of the wild card, but we're also 5 games away from 13th in the National League. It's a very intense, close race. But squeaked out 2 comeback wins the last 2 nights, Diamondbacks and Astros. Michael Taylor comes in because an outfielder gets hurt. 3-run dinger in the top of the ninth. Come on. So
I'm a little disappointed the Tigers chose to be sellers at the deadline. But you know what? I've never been like a diehard baseball guy to the sense that I know the prospects we're getting in return. Hopefully there's something. Obviously, the Dodgers are known to pay for things because they enjoy being dominant. So hopefully the pieces can contribute next season and help with a long-awaited return to the playoffs for the Tigers. Can't wait.
Yeah, the Pirates acquire Isaiah Kinner-Falefa from the Blue Jays. I guess he can play first base. He's had a pretty good bat this year. That's what Ty Schmidt said in the Pat McAfee show. He's their baseball guy for sure. And then I see that we've acquired left fielder Brian De La Cruz and infielder Keener-Falefa. So we're adding bats. We're trying to get in this postseason. And if you've got Mitch Keller, Paul Skeens, and Jared Jones all pitching in a 3-game series, we have a shot against anybody in the postseason with those guys on the mound. Brian Reynolds has a hit in all but like 3 games this year. He's playing fantastic. O'Neal Cruz hitting cruise missiles out over the fucking wall, baby. Come on. Let's get to the playoffs. That would be so cool. Pirates, they've been butt cheeks every time I've watched them. Tell you this, it almost made me never want to watch baseball again. When the Pirates, 8 years ago, they had the second best record in the National League. But the number 1 record was the St. Louis Cardinals in division. So it put us in a wild card game, and it was 1 game. It wasn't even a series at that time. And we played the Giants, who we were like 5-2 against on the season. They beat us 4-1 in the wild card game in advance. If I'm not mistaken, that might have even been the year they made it to the World Series. The Giants did. But it was just like second best record in all of baseball, actually, I think it was. The one with the better record was the Cardinals in division, the rat bastard.
Tough. That's tough. But you know what?
That's sports, though. That's how it goes.
That is sports. Well, I'll see you on vacation when we're podding and I'm close to a beach. But we'll chat.
See ya.
We're out.